here's part two. What else we got from? I think. Oh yeah, one more NFC North move, which the Lions have not done a damn thing other than lose players and get back bums. But I called it. I don't think I'm the only person that called it. Probably pretty obvious to a lot of people. Kyler Murray, Minnesota Vikings. Kyle, what you thinking about seeing the dwarf over there?
I think it'll be a fun little project for KOC. It'll be a fun little side quest, if you will, that might turn into the main story. Who knows? Yeah, it's the perfect guy to offer some competition to JJ. Kyler reads defenses like a rookie, but he plays a lot better than it. So to me, I think these are the best two guys to pair together. Let them duke it out. I hope JJ wins the job overall. But from a personal standpoint and a fantasy standpoint, once again, going back to Dynasty, I have JJ McCarthy. So it would be nice if he proved himself in training camp and we didn't have to talk about this too much longer. But yeah, I could see Kyler being a success for them. I could see him kind of almost being like a Josh Dobbs, but better, obviously. Like he's gotten
Just
like, I mean, honestly, like the tear that Josh Dobbs went on in those first 5 weeks with the
generation.
Vikings, it was crazy. It was like a Jeremy Lin run. It was nuts. Obviously, then it fell off. Look, I just don't see Kyler as a long-term option, so that's why I guess I'm making such horrible comparisons. Kyler, if you're seeing this, man, I apologize. It is what it is. You got a show to do. I got a show to do. So I'm gonna call it how I see it. I just don't think that you have what it takes long term in this league, man. But
Yeah.
if anybody's gonna flip you around, it's gonna be KOC or Kyle Shanahan or one of those guys to take a shot on you.
Real quick before you go, Toph, fun little fact for y'all from @AlbertBreer on Twitter. With the release of Kyler Murray, just 3 of the 29 first-round quarterbacks drafted in the second decade of this millennium, 2010 to 2019, remain with the teams that took them. Those 3 are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. That is insane.
That's crazy.
3 of 29.
And I think Allen and Jackson were in the same draft class.
Yeah. Toph, what you think about Kyler to the Vikings?
Well, kind of like Chua, this is probably Kyler Murray's last chance to possibly be like a starter. I think the biggest question mark for Kyler Murray is, has he reached his ceiling already? And that's the question that I don't necessarily have the answer to, because we've seen, the highs of Kyler Murray with DeAndre Hopkins, the Hail Marys. He's made to the Pro Bowl. He does have a talent and a skill set that he just can't teach. Yes, he may be little, but he has a baseball background. He's got an arm. He can throw that thing. Just like Tua. He plays a little bit too off script, and sometimes people say he can't throw from the pocket. He has to roll outside. Now, as far as talent, he didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, at his peak, but he does have Justin Jefferson. Arguably, one of the best wide receivers, or if not the best wide receiver in the league. You still got, what's my guy? Jordan Addison, another really good wide receiver. You got old man Aaron Jones, but I think Kevin O'Connell, we saw what he did with Sam Darnold. Everybody wrote him off, said, the man's dead. He's washed. He ain't got it no more. So if anybody is going to save this man's career and his job, it's Kevin O'Connell. And for what I've seen, we got to trust Kevin O'Connell. So I do think, Kyler's going to bounce back. He's only getting paid $1.3 million from the Vikings. So like I said, it doesn't cost you anything, because the Cardinals still paying $36 million off of his salary. So like I said, it's a win-win situation. You're not paying him anything. You got your quarterback. Now, for JJ McCarthy, I think it might be over for him, man. We didn't get to see too much of him at Michigan. One, he had an amazing offensive line. They ran the ball, played defense. We've seen the flashes, but like I said, he didn't get too much experience. We didn't know that he was this frail. But like I said, if he can't stay healthy, he's not going to be able to develop. It's like I said, it's unfortunate. I like J.J. McCarthy. We saw him opening day against the Iceman. He had his 3 touchdowns. He balled out. And I said, J.J. McCarthy, he's unknown. We have not seen, Michigan really unleash his talents, but, he does have a skill set. But I don't know. I didn't know he was this frail, man. So like I said, if you come into the league, limping, it ain't going to get much better. So, yeah, I think JJ might, I don't see it changing for him at all, unfortunately.
It's kind of crazy that you compared Kyler to Tua because the situations have completely lined up. Tua over Penix and then Kyler over JJ. And they both, it's like the situations are the same. With the questions about Tua, the questions about Kyler can be similar. And Penix and JJ are like the same thing. We don't know what they are. They've been hurt the whole damn time. Y'all been hurt for y'all both been in the league for 2 years and spent more time hurt than time actually on the field. So we have no idea. I'm with you, Toph. If you can't win with Kevin and it's hard to say this because we've seen Daniel Jones, we've seen Bryce Young, we've seen Baker and Sam Darnold. But if you can't win with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson, it might be this is probably the last chance for Kyler. Probably.
Absolutely.
Speaking of another person in that same exact situation of bouncing around, we have the return of the King of New York, Geno Smith, back where it all started, New York. And I forgot who it was. Somebody had tweeted this. There's an argument to be made that Geno Smith is the best quarterback in New York since ... Geno Smith. You think it's gonna work out?
Hell no.
No.
I'm sorry, but I'd rather have Justin Fields than Geno.
Mm-hmm.
At least I know Justin can run.
Amen.
They're gonna throw about the same amount of picks, but at least Justin's gonna be exciting. So I'm sorry, Geno, but I'm writing back. I'm writing back already.
He looked so
writing them all
when he was with Seattle, and then the Raiders is just one of the worst displays of you've ever seen. And somehow he still got a job.
As a Brock Bowers fantasy owner, that was rough this year, man.
Oh my God,
that was rough.
Hey, the Raiders are kind of bad. You remember when they had Jimmy Garoppolo over there? And Javonte was like, "I gotta get out of here before I get killed."
If you have not seen that Netflix documentary, man, y'all got to see it. That was one of the best ones.
So funny. That whole episode was so funny.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting demolished.
Mm-hmm. Was that the Lions game or was that before? That might have been the week before.
I think it was before.
Man. Yeah, that was, and that's like what? That's week 4 of that year, and he's already like, "Hey, you get the fuck out of here!"
And he only wanted to go there to play with his college teammate.
Right, he only wanted to go there for Fresno.
1 year, they got him up out of there.
Yep.
Kyle,
man,
your favorite topic of the night. A few weeks ago, you made a trade with Toph, which involved giving Jordan Love to Toph, but you did not trade Malik Willis, who is now the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins.
I finally have a starter on my lineup again. I got him. Injured Mahomes. I got who else? I got him injured Mahomes. I got Bryce Young, who I got in that trade, and then JJ. Yeah, those are my fucking quarterbacks. Yeah, it's fantastic. I did this to myself. I can't be mad at anybody but me. At least I got Saquon, who I'm hoping on. I'm hoping he has a bounce back this year.
We still miss him.
Yeah, I'm sure. You're shedding that single tear.
Yeah, because if he balls out this year, like I think he's gonna be like, damn it, man.
Man, if he balls out and Malik Willis is a starter for 17 weeks, I won out so good on these trades.
Here's the question.
But yeah, I mean,
Willis gonna be the starter for 17.
Okay, so I do think a lot of his success was directly tied to Matthew LaFleur putting him in the best spots possible. I mean, he ran such good plays for him. There was a quarter where he came in for Jordan Love, and then Jordan Love ended up coming back in. For that entire, I think Malik Willis threw 2 passes. They scored a touchdown though, and he had like option plays and run plays, but just LaFleur just put him in the best spots possible. I don't know that's going to happen with the Dolphins. I don't know that they're going to do that to you. I think they're probably using you as a guy that, if you don't play well, you're going to be the scapegoat as to why this head coach gets to have a second year, So, I think pressure's all on him, but I also think too, like, there's something to be said for guys that prepare under really good quarterback coaches, even for a short time. Baker Mayfield had Sean McVay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, went to Tampa, had Liam Cohen, and flipped his career around, So stuff like that happens for sure. Sam Darnold, prime example. We all know that story. So I think time will tell. It could be his time right now, but this is, once again, like boom or bust right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, boom or bust. We'll find out if it is, full redemption or if it was just the Matt LaFleur situation. I don't know. As a Packers fan who's been watching the last 2 seasons, I've seen so many times of both. I've seen where Malik got in and they were like, all right, let's just try to keep him upright. Let's try to make sure that we don't turn the ball over, play real conservative, see what we can do with the run game. I've also seen situations where Malik has balled out. Until the floodgates open, which is more than the defense and the offense. The Ravens, when they came in, that game where Derrick Henry scored, I think, 5 touchdowns, Malik Willis was going toe-to-toe with them. Now, granted, Lamar was not in either, but Malik was balling. He was throwing and running. He looked very good. The game with the Packers, with the Packers. The game with the Bears, where they wound up losing at the very end of that game after winning the whole game. Like, Malik has had lots of flashes of looking like a starting quarterback again. And so I think he's definitely earned his shot. We'll see what happens. But as I'm sure Toph is about to break down, they need some more weapons over there before we can really evaluate that.
All right, let me break this part down. First of all, Malik Willis, I'm a huge fan, Even when he was back at Liberty in college, he balled out. He had a season where they went undefeated. He was at the peak. He got into a bowl game, played some real competition, and he got demolished in that game. I remember I wanted him as a Falcons. In that draft, somebody didn't deliver. I said, I'd rather have him than Desmond Ridder. You see him having Desmond Ridder. Enough said right there. Malik Willis he does not set up for success in Tennessee. Nobody really was. We've seen Will Levis. I don't know if that man even still alive. Ain't nobody said his name in a minute. But I cannot unsee what he did for the Packers. There's a night and day difference from, the way he's going through his progressions. This is not what we saw at Liberty or at Tennessee. I know it's like a 4-game sample size, but they also did the same thing with Jordan Love. He had Rodgers forever. Jordan Love finally got his chance. I remember I think it was a game against the Eagles. They said, I've seen enough. We're rolling with him in there. So like I said, the only bad thing, like we just said, the wide receivers, the weapons in Miami are nowhere near what they are for the Packers. You got rid of Tyreek Hill. You got Darren, 1,000 yards receiver, Waller. Sorry, Kyle. I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but you got Malik Washington, A-Chain, and Waddle. Now, like I said, this is an excellent draft to kind of fill in those wide receiver gaps. You got a couple of tight ends, so like I said, all hope is not lost. But also, can you guys tell me the last Packers quarterback that was bad?
I was going to say the same thing as soon as you stopped talking. I need this.
Hey, y'all remember Matt Flynn?
Yeah.
Matt Flynn, Mr. 6 touchdowns. It went to Seattle. Yeah. Since he got there, watch it. Y'all remember Brett Hundley?
Oh, yeah.
Looked good in there. Backup. As soon as he went off, never heard from him again.
Brett never looked as good as Malik, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, the Packers don't have bad quarterbacks. You've had a history of fantastic quarterback play there. That team knows how to develop a quarterback in there. So like I said, I hope I'm wrong because I love Malik Willis. That's another black brother I've seen him play his whole career. So I hope he just absolutely balls out because I also got it for fantasy. So I need that boy to eat as well too.
I've been saying this for a while, and I think that we're going to find out if it's true or not. I think that Green Bay is quarterback factory, and so go in there, change the around, send him back out there. Matt LaFleur going to be looking Kevin O'Connell right in the eyes, like, yeah, I can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see. All right, Mike Evans to my least favorite team in the league, the 49ers. Just when I thought that things could get any worse, that's the shit I gotta wake up and see. You know how fucking bad that makes me? Dog, that's terrible. Yes. And Mike Evans said it at his press conference. He was like, yeah, I was thinking that, they might have been really just a piece away. And I think I'm that piece. And motherfucking, I don't think you're wrong. And that makes me mad and scared. And that's all I gotta say about that. Fuck the Niners, and now fuck Mike Evans.
Hell yeah, good for Mike Evans.
That's crazy.
Man. As long as the dude can keep his hamstrings healthy, I think, this is potentially could be the offseason move of the year. The 49ers do it again.
Yep.
I mean, they did it with McCaffrey. They just know how to pick a guy that nobody's really thinking about as the top piece in free agency necessarily, or as the top option because they think either he's locked in where he's at or whatever. And then they just go and get it done, man. They make them into the star, help them continue to be the stars that they already were. So I think this is great for Mike Evans. I haven't drafted this guy in 4 years because of his inconsistency. I think I'm going to draft him this year in a couple fantasy leagues just to see what happens. I'll draft Brock Purdy too. He could have a career year because of this. I mean, this is huge. This guy gets open, cross routes, go routes, doesn't matter. He's open.
Man, and the thing is like it's a humongous potential upside. I will say, not to be the wet blanket, although I don't like the Niners, I would never ever wish injury on a player. Someone with the injury history of Mike Evans is probably one of the last people you should be having around that electronic substation they got over there. That whole team be dead all season anyways. There's a possibility Mike Evans could not play the majority of this season.
Yeah, maybe just sit him till week 10 and then
So,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Niners, I actually like the Niners. I don't own any Niners, merchandise. But their head coach, man, he was a former Falcon. He got us to the highest peak. So I'll always be a fan of him. C-Mac. Huh?
second highest peak.
Well, whatever. He is.
he got you to the game. He got you to the game.
Hey, that's more than we could ever say in our career there. I know we've made it, way, way back in the day, but in my lifetime, he didn't get us no farther than what that man did. So he always gonna be a legend to me. I mean the Niners are literally, this is I want to say retirement home. But yeah, in terms of injuries, they are up there. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, George Kittle, even McCaffrey. I don't want to say it, but there are times when he's not always out on the field. It's like I said, when you get this many people that just have not played, yes. Well, Ayuk not even. Ayuk's different. I mean, he did get injured, but he's just, on the team, but not really on the team.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with that guy. I mean, he's basically, like 2 years now, feels like.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half. Outside of that, Ricky Pearsall also can't stay healthy. DeMarcus Robinson, he's all right, but he ain't nothing crazy. Juwan Jennings still unsigned. So, like I said, I love Iron Mike. Maybe not so much Iron now. More, just Mike Evans now. As you get older, the injuries, they pile up. He ain't getting no younger. It's going to be hard to stay healthy. But like I said, in terms of Mike Evans, I don't think he's going to get 1,000 yards, but, a red zone target to kind of help out, take some of the pressure off of Christian McCaffrey, got him for the low. Why not? You could waste money elsewhere. I think Mike Evans will do just fine in San Fran. So I like the move.
All right, I'm gonna read these last few in a row, and then if any of them speak to you, and talk about it. Trent McDuffie to the Rams, Rashan Gary to the Cowboys, Javonte gets a deal, Pickens gets the franchise tag, all with the Cowboys. Daniel Jones gets off the transition tag and gets a deal.
All right. Two players that I got. There's one you didn't even mention, but I got to unload on that one.
Yep.
First up, McDuffie. The Rams, the rich get richer. We saw down the stretch what happened to the Rams. They were just a couple plays away from Matt Stafford going back into the Super Bowl. Also, Matt Stafford, y'all know I was on that man's head. Boy, did he let me have it. He looked phenomenal. Probably the best I've ever seen him play. The things he did this year, unreal. And like I said, this is a team that they would have said, this team has no weakness. No weakness. What was their biggest weakness? DB. And you got, one of the best. Then you also got his running mate as well, too. And somehow you still have your 2 first-round picks. So now at this point, you don't have to use that 13th pick on a DB. You could go get, real luxury. You could get a Mekhi Lemon. If Jordan Tyson is still there, you could get him. I don't think Carnell Tate will still be there, but if he is, you could get him. You got Kenan Sadiq. You could go get a new tackle. You could get an edge rusher. They are in a position to really make some moves. You could trade that second first-round pick, maybe get a player that we don't even see coming. So like I said, they have, the whole, world at the palm of their hands. So I think this team, I'm going to say it right now, that's my front runner. To make it the Super Bowl. Second person, you did not say this man's name, but I did not forget. Mr. Alec Pierce. Now, I was not on for this episode, but somebody called this man a route technician. And I about fell out my seat when that sentence got uttered. You guys know the amount of catches Alec Pierce has. What's his main route that he does?
Go, go, go.
The go ball. This man, I don't think he even had 60 catches. He averages about 20 yards a catch. He had 1,000, but yeah, he does not run the route. He is not a technician. He is strictly, I'm going to go deep. I'm going to run a deep post. I'm going to run by you. And that's how I make my money. And you gave this man $100 million just to run a go ball.
Yep. And got rid of Michael Pittman, who actually can run routes. He sent him straight to Pittsburgh.
Now, as a new Daniel Jones owner, I hope and pray that Alec Pierce does the same thing. But I think you gave him an insane amount of money. For all the hoopla, they're saying that George Pickens shouldn't get $30 million a year, which is basically what Alec Pierce got. If Alec Pierce could get that, what the hell do you think George Pickens is about to get? I mean, they can't say he can't make more money than CD Lamb. But if I'm George Pickens, no. I'm getting my 45, whatever the heck it is. I want to make the most, reset the market. But for Alex Pierce to get that much money, and for whoever the hell that was on the pod, to call that man a route technician. The ultimate all the disrespect I had.
No.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I had. But hey, Pierce, get your money, man. I ain't mad at you, but you better produce now.
Hell yeah.
To turn down the money and say, this is where I want to go, he could have had more.
What do you think about Daniel's deal?
What, 2-year, 88? I mean, this is best that we've seen Daniel Jones play. What do you have? Achilles, which, oof. Achilles is always rough, man. I don't care who you are. Yeah, you're a quarterback, but Daniel Jones, he could run that thing. I just don't know, if he's going to have that same, downfield speed that he's got. But I think if you're the Colts, I mean, do you really want Phillip Rivers back? We've seen Anthony Richardson. You got to give him the money. You kind of handicapped.
Yeah.
Like I said, I definitely think you saw what you did. I mean, I remember I called, I think Dose, he said, what are the teams that you're not worried about? My number one was the Colts. I said, I'm not worried about this team. And they fell off the face of the earth. It all went crumbling down for that team. But like I said, I think you got the pieces. I like Pittman. I was a big fan of him. I'm not saying he's in the top 10, but you know what you're going to get out of him. He's going to, get the first downs, a good red zone target. He's just reliable. yes, you can replace him, maybe like Elijah Surratt in the draft. But like I said, I still like the Colts. You had to get the quarterback done. Alec Piercy is probably one of the best deep threats, that we have in the game. So I understand you got to pay that man. But I just don't like the money that he got. I think it was crazy.
Okay. Kyle, any of these moves stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pierce, yeah, he could be an impact. We'll see. I think Rashan Gary to the Cowboys is hilarious because I like the Cowboys you give away Micah Parsons, you get what is it, Kenneth Grant? Um, is that his name? I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
the DT, and then in return, then you give up a fourth rounder a year later, and you get who was the Packers' best pass rusher. So you, in a way, like Jerry Jones kind of cooked. I never liked complimenting this guy, but you offloaded a big contract. You got an older veteran who still has some juice in the tank for sure. Got him at a way lower price point so you could spend money on your offense a little more. And now your pass rush is probably going to get way better. So to me, it's like, damn, all right, Jerry, like prove me wrong a little bit. Like make me bite my tongue because I mean, I know I still believe he's probably a figurehead, but I'm starting to believe in the Schottenheimer hire and things like that because clearly, uh, they're cooking. They're cooking since he's gotten in. They really are cooking on personnel. The record doesn't show it, but I mean, I love that they tagged Pickens. I know that you guys just mentioned that, and like Pickens should be angry seeing the Pierce contract, but like from the Cowboys' perspective, that was really smart for them. And if he does what he did this year, then we talk about being the guys that pay the most money to wide receivers in the league. But until he does that again, like let's just wait and see for another year. Yeah, I think the Cowboys have handled this free agency really well.
Really
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
like I said, I wasn't really gonna go too much on this one, but I do think the Cowboys did the best that they could to solve the pass rush issue. You still got Quentin Williams, you got Rashawn Gary, you still got Kenny Clark, which, like I said, my biggest thing was saying that I know Micah Parsons all world, but he's just one person. We've seen the best teams at their best. The Rams, they could get after it. The Eagles had a rotation of pass rush. So, like I said, you could have, one person. Like I said, you got a rotation. You can kind of keep it in and out in there. I think that's the recipe for success. They just got to solve the DB issues, Like I said, you got Trayvon Diggs is gone. DeRon Blaine looked like a shell of himself. So like I said, if your corners are weak, the best way to kind of mask that is have a pass rush in there. So if they could fix, the DB play, get a decent linebacker or two, I think they're in a way better position. I think you got to fear the Cowboys a bit. Offense should do what they got to do, but yeah, I think Jerry Jones, he did his thing.
Toph just took almost all of the words out of my mouth. I agree with everything that you just said 100%. And to me, that makes sense of why you tag instead of contract Pickens. Because if this doesn't work this year, maybe we don't need to put that money into another receiver. But let's give it a shot and see how it goes. And then so yeah, I mean, they need some DB help for sure. But like I said, I don't want to reiterate everything that you just said, but exactly that makes sense of why you don't pay, but you just keep Pickens and see. Let's see how this looks this year, and then paying Javonte. We need to have a run game. Got to have a run game to be competitive. He earned that money, so it makes sense to go ahead and pay him for that.
And you still got your 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. All right. We have 2 teams that have some pretty new looks. We have the new look Commanders and the new look Chargers. What speaks to you about these, Toph?
Yeah, let me go back to the Chargers real quick here. The biggest issue that I'm the biggest Herbert fan. I ain't got his jersey on right now. Everybody here on this podcast knows how I feel about the if man.
If man.
Now, like I said, they have probably the 2 best tackle duo in the NFL if they're healthy. Both all pros. What was their biggest issue? The interior. So what they do? They re-signed Trevor Penning. He picked up Cole Strange. He picked up Tyler Biadasz and Trey Pickens. So that's 4 more interior offensive linemen. As we all know, just like the Niners, Chargers cannot stay healthy. Somebody going to go down. It's just who and when. Like I said, I think Justin Herbert, talent-wise, he's probably top 5. And I just said arm talent. I'm not saying, actual quarterback ranking there, but that man can make every single throw. He's 6'5". He can stay in the pocket. He's mobile. There's nothing that man can't do. Keaton Mitchell. Now, unfortunately, we did not see too much of Marion Hampton, last year. But the plays that he did, he was impactful. He could do it all. Keaton Mitchell is an absolute burner. So I do like that kind of change of pace in there. Old man Khalil Mack. He's coming back for 1 more year. Now, that man got to be in his 40s. I don't know how he's still playing. But he keeps getting those deals. He signed Tier Tart. So like I said, interior defensive line. That was a week as well, too. He signed 3 linebackers. I like that play. So like I said, I think now is the time. Chargers' always biggest issue was somebody always goes down, and that man got to turn water into wine. So like I said, I'm always high on the Chargers. I still think they need some wide receiver help, so hopefully they'll take that in the draft. But Harbaugh, this is it. This is your year. You got to do something, man. So I do like the new look Chargers.
Man, the only thing that I want to add to this is the fact that the Harbaugh brothers act like a swingers club, bro. The way that they be passing them around, they trade coaches and players between the two of each other. Like, hey, I'm going to hit it for a little bit. I'm going to send it over to you.
Yeah, you heard a wife swap. How about linebacker swap,
Oh,
How
man.
about running back swap? How
about running back swap?
Coordinator swap. They just be passing them
Come
around.
on down.
That's all I have to add to that. Kyle.
Oh, gosh.
That's so funny. Nothing. I mean, Toph hit the nail on the head there with all the free agency moves. I think on top of it being a prove-it year for Harbaugh, the guy's going to get more chances if it doesn't happen this year. But for Hampton, this is your time to show that you were the guy in this draft and that everybody slept on you. I mean, you kind of showed it when you were healthy. So come back healthy again, and let's see what you got in this sophomore season. That's got a whole lot of weight to the Chargers season, I think, is him staying healthy and picking up where he left off.
Real quick, because you guys keep saying improve it year for Harbaugh. I don't think it is at all. They were literally winning their division last season before everyone got hurt and still made the playoffs. And watching the playoff game, it's not like it was Herbert or Harbaugh's fault. They were just completely undermanned.
It's just I'm not saying he's going to be fired, but it's just in this division. It's cutthroat, man. It's very tough.
And now they got to go against the Chiefs, who have Kenneth Walker.
K-Dub.
As well as the Raiders, who made a bunch of moves that we're going to get into in a few minutes.
Yeah. And Broncos. Don't forget the Broncos. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. Toph, do you know Vidal? Is he still on the team?
Kamani Vidal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he still is.
Yep. So they got a lot of running backs over there. Okay. Did you guys have anything on the Commanders or?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for the Commanders, running back wise was very inconsistent. You had old man Austin Eckler. Like I said, he's well past his prime. He had Bill. He had 2 good games, then give you absolutely nothing. Rashad White, he had some good games for the Buccaneers, and then when they got what's my man's name?
The running back.
Dang. Yes, one of my favorite running backs. I can't think of his name.
Big old Bucky.
There we go. Yep. Bucky Irving. There we go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I do like the pieces they got. But like I said, I just don't think it's enough. Commanders are basically just Jaden Daniels or bust. I like the attempt. Yeah, but that defense is atrocious.
True.
Yeah, they had some work to.
Absolutely atrocious.
Another Lion gone. Took a Meek Robertson that got a dog out of him. I know he's not going to be their number one, but you already got Mikey Sanders still. I mean, this guy can cover tight ends like it's nobody's business. So, I think he will be an asset to their defense.
There we go. On to the New York. Nope, I said that wrong. On to the Baltimore Giants.
There we go. Let's go. The Giants.
The New York Ravens, baby.
New York
Ah,
Ravens.
the
Isaiah
Giants.
Likely, Patrick Ricard, Tremaine Edmonds. Who else?
Jermaine Eluemunor, he came back. For some reason, they re-signed Evan Neal, who's absolutely atrocious. Tremaine Edmonds, former
Raven.
former Bear.
Oh yeah,
Comes
true.
back to the Giants. Greg Newsome, former Brown, is coming back. Also, the nemesis to George Pickens. If you guys have seen them, they go at it quite a bit. So, you got the Pickens stopper now. I think the Giants' biggest thing is just having, I don't want to say a real head coach, but a proven head coach. A lot of people, what can I say, Harbaugh hasn't done anything since that Super Bowl. A lot of people give the credit to Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, but I still think Harbaugh, is a great coach. He at least have you in position to, at least get to the playoffs, fight the Super Bowl in there. And the Giants already have one of the best, most talented teams. That defensive front is no joke. Like I said, you still got Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Mr. Spider-Man, Sexy Dexy. Like I said, they got the pieces in there. It's just what year two Jackson Dart are we going to get? Lately, year two's been pretty rough for these quarterbacks. I hate to say it, but like I said, we have not seen them with the full year of Scatterbo. We're really digging to see Malik Neighbors. Like I said, the Giants, for a bad team, you got one hell of some talent on that team. So I can't wait to see what the Giants do. I'm the honorary Giants fan here. I've got more Giants merch than I do Falcons merch. Falcons, they about to get on me.
Yeah, I think that they've got, like you said, they've got so much talent over there. It's just a matter of just keeping everybody healthy. And they were in so many games last year that they should not have been at all. Now you add a better head coach and a few more weapons and get some of your guys healthy, they could wind up giving some real problems. If they won the division next year, it wouldn't surprise me.
Historically, NFC East is always the new winner.
Yep. I'm not going to say for sure that they're going to, but I think that they have all the pieces there to make that a reality if everyone comes back healthy. I still don't know if I feel like they might still be lacking a second wide receiver, though. Am I forgetting somebody?
Oh, yeah. No, because like I said,
Darius Slayton is wide receiver too. That's
hell no. Get him out of that.
That should not be your wide receiver too. I heard some rumblings of OBJ. I prefer him over that. I'm not saying I want him to be a wide receiver.
Bring the GOAT back.
But yeah, hell yeah. I mean, if
he should retire a Giant.
If anything's gonna light a fire under him for one more season, it'd be going back to New York.
Did he play last year?
No.
I think he was on the Ravens roster for the first half, and he got waived at some point.
He didn't play at all.
I don't remember hearing about him at all. Yeah,
but there was, I guess he and number 2 from Ole Miss were in cahoots, so they've been talking. So who knows what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, we've been chatting.
All right, last topic of this whole breakdown is extremely spicy, dog. We talking about Ravens and Raiders. The Ravens said they were going to trade for Maxx Crosby. It was announced, all the stuff went through for it, and then right before the league year started, all these could be official. The Raiders and Ravens. The Raiders came out and said that the Ravens had backed out of the deal. No more comments at this time. The Raiders also acquired star center Tyler Linderbaum and paid him a ton of money. And then the Ravens turned around after the trade went through and picked up Trey Hendrickson, who has been trying to get paid, and they said, we will give you that money. So I've heard a mixture of the fact that their plan was always to try to pair Hendrickson with Crosby and have just a crazy defensive line. And some people speculate the fact that once they found out they could get a cheaper Hendrickson who's had better stats actually, that they were going to forego the deal and just go ahead and go with the better deal for them. Toph, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is, one kind of crazy wave of emotions. Because like I said, pretty much all last year, Maxx Crosby was pretty adamant about just, wanting to, play for a contender. He's not getting no younger. He's been, a Raider his whole career. Literally put everything out on the line. So like I said, I understand that, his frustrations of wanting to leave. Um, More noticeably in the NBA, you've had some trades that got rescinded.
Just
It's pretty
recently.
rare, yeah, that it happens in the NFL, but there has been some cases. I can't remember every single one, but I did hear about some. Um, like I said, the thing for me about the Ravens is every year they'll draft a defensive lineman. I feel like that's all they do draft, and for them to be that bad on the defensive line front was kind of confusing to me. Um, Kyle, remember who your defensive rookie of the year pick was?
No, I
He
don't.
was on the Ravens.
That was so
Mike
long ago.
Green,
Oh, true.
Adam
Wow.
Marshall.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Namdi Adabuke, who was, is their best defensive lineman. He pretty much did not play the entire year. He's got a neck injury. There's been some rumblings that his career could be over. Not confirmed yet, but like I said, there is some, some real reservations about that. Trent Simpson, they drafted him, 2 years ago out of Clemson. So like I said, historically, when you think of the Ravens, at least me, I think of defense.
Yeah.
I know you got Lamar Jackson, but it's hard for me to unsee the Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, T. Sizzle. Just like when I think the Ravens, that's the first thing I think of in there. They would say play like a Raven. I would have loved to see, Maxx Crosby as a Raven. It's just kind of fitting. I know there's been reports that their plan was to have Trey Hendrickson and Maxx Crosby on the same team. The white boys from hell. That would have been their nicknames right there. um, like I said, I know we kind of talked about it in the pre-show. If you guys didn't know that, a physical is not just like a one-set-all NFL physical. Every team, quote unquote, has a different physical. So if one team might have been, okay with your, physical, it could pass. Like I said, as far as the Ravens, they were not, convinced or felt comfortable with this current knee situation. They actually had, the knee expert take a look at his. He's done pretty much every, NBA. If you had a major knee injury, he was the one to do it. He's the knee guru. That's what he does. But he called it degenerative knees, and that was enough for the Ravens to say, nope, we can't do it. To trade 2 first-round picks, that is your whole future. So if you were to get him, he never plays. Now it'd be really tough for you to recoup, to get more defensive linemen, and you got Lamar Jackson every single year when he doesn't produce. What do they keep saying? I want to say biggest bust, but one of the biggest disappointments. You could probably say modern NFL at this point, and he's got all the MVPs. But even if he even got the dance just one time and didn't win, at least he got there. So like I said, Lamar Jackson getting a new deal. From what I hear, it could be up to $60 million a year. You don't have the time to be messing around trading draft picks for that not to hit. You are in a supreme basically win now mode. Anything you do has to basically be Super Bowl or bust. But it's unfortunate because I would have loved to see Maxx Crosby as a Raven. And at this point, I've also kind of heard when you kind of start calling people injury prone. At this point, you could kind of say it might have been a ploy. But now I don't think you're going to be able to give up 2 first-round picks for, Maxx Crosby. They out there slandering his name. And at this point, it just messed up his whole, value as well, too. So, it kind of sucks for him as well.
Yeah, they might have permanently altered the course of Maxx Crosby's career. Sorry, Kyle, you can go first.
No, you're good. Yeah. This is perfect for the bargain dealers right now, that they can go and get something out of Maxx Crosby for a little bit less than he was going to be a lot less, I should say, than he was going to be sold for 2 weeks ago. A thing I want to really touch on here, aside from, because I mean, Toph, you hit the nail on the head with the Ravens side of things. The Raiders, with this happening, they thought they sold Maxx Crosby, so they went and signed, like Spence mentioned, Tyler Linderbaum. They went and signed defensive end Kwity Paye for $48 million. Linebacker Quay Walker from the Packers, $40.5 million. And then they also signed Nakobe Dean from the Eagles, I believe. Yeah, I mean, and he was $36 million. Then you also signed wide receiver Jalen Naylor, a wide receiver 3, basically. You signed him for $35 million, and go get a new kicker. So you do all of this. You spent, I mean, what's that? Over
100.
Yeah, I mean, well over. That's almost two.
You're about
200 mil, 250.
North of 150.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane, man. So, yeah, you went and did all that, and then now you have Maxx Crosby back on your lineup, who you're expected to pay. Like, you need to sell him fast. So they put the Raiders in the absolute worst position with this by kind of backing out of this and giving every other team all the reason to just sit on an offer, because the clock is on the Raiders to get rid of him now.
Well, I would say, like, it's, I don't know. I guess probably more information will probably come out about the physical and how healthy Maxx Crosby is. If he really did feel the physical, like, genuinely, if I'm the Ravens, I'm like, nah, you try to sell me damaged goods. I'm not taking the PR hit for this, that I'm a bad trader. You gonna own this.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not saying it's wrong either, yeah.
We'll see if Max, I'm not a big cap guy. I'm not a big numbers cap guy, so I don't know if this is possible to do. If you keep Maxx Crosby, if you're forced to keep him somehow and have to play a whole season with him still on the roster, it could be a situation of, everything happens for a reason. Because think about all the moves they just made, and now you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, and then you get to keep Maxx Crosby still. They might fuck some shit up next season if they're able to keep him. I have no idea if that's possible or not.
I think the biggest thing, remember like when the Lakers tried to trade, what's the white guy's name?
Dalton Connect.
Dalton Connect. Like, after you do that, like, how do you go back in the locker room? Like, you said your goodbyes, you went on your podcast. Like, that is an awkward thing to just have to go back. So it's kind of like it's just the awkwardness in there. They always going to say, like, team chemistry. You don't want to, like, separate the locker room. But like I said, to do all that, say the goodbyes, to kind of come back, it's a weird vibe, man. I just don't think that he can come back.
At least Max, go ahead.
I was just saying, he came out on his podcast, his own podcast, talked about how he wanted to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. That's awkward as hell. Like,
yeah.
So then now you're not on that team at all. Like, that's so weird, bro.
The difference, at least, is the fact that, like, Maxx Crosby has done nothing but give them everything he's got every year. Always wanted to play, even if there's nothing to play for, to give the Raiders everything. He never cheated them from anything. And they were going to reward him by sending him to a Super Bowl contender. Dalton Connect is about to get dealed in the middle of the night for nothing after never getting a chance to play. There's one thing of saying, like, hey, this benefits us both. Let's have a happy divorce and still come see the kids together. There's another thing from, like, hey, we're going to take him out on a drive in the middle of the night and shoot him.
I'm going to send him to the Pelicans. Yeah.
It was just awkward for him to have to, like, come back after, they rescinded. It was, obviously they don't want you. So you're like, hey, I'm back here. Y'all don't even want me. So, I know what you mean, but still, like, the awkward's like, I'm back.
Yeah. Last thing real quick that I realized that I skipped. Tariq Woolen is an Eagle.
Oh, what a closer. Liability Woolen. Nice.
Nah.
What a way to close the episode.
Granted, let's look at it like this. Eagles already got, the baddest white boy, in the world right now.
True.
You still got Quinyon Mitchell. It's like I said, Quinyon Mitchell, he's outside. And we got a favorite white boy. He's in the slot. And now you got, not Quinyon Mitchell. Tariq Woolen is outside corner. Woolen might be, outside of Travis Hunter, probably the most athletic DB in the game. The man's 6'4". He runs almost close to a 4.2. Like, the guy, in terms of just, like, raw, athletic ability, There's not two people better than that guy in there. Like I said, on the Eagles, you usually got a hellacious pass rush. You don't got to hold up for too long. It's like, yes, he does get burnt. He's got an ego issue as well, too. But I said, if he gets that together, you pair them with the Eagles. Granted, he probably won't be in the team next year because Quinion Mitchell is about to make a bag. So, like I said, they don't got too much money. I don't think, even if he does ball out, I still don't see him back on that team next year. It's basically a 1-year rental for the Eagles. So, why not?
I mean, yeah, and you just lost one half of the Napkin brothers. Reed Blankenship signed with the Texans. So, I mean, you got to try your options somewhere.
All right.
Oh, man.
Thank you all for tuning in to our very special episode of bonus episode of the NFL late entry collab. And from Kyle and me to Brad Holmes, do something, nigga.
Please. I mean,
that's not from Kyle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait. I chimed in way too quick.
All right, late entry week out.
Oh boy.
Peace.